Morning, boys. JV boys finally getting some action. Varsity team is on a bench or is on vacation. A little load management for Jordy.
That's right.
It's the bullpen.
It is our time now. They have the lefties in the pen. Little power hour, ready to roll. Very excited that the Young Bucks get this opportunity today. Noah, Lloyd, ghost of Katie, she'll be watching.
Skated. She made some excuse, but we're like the B team for the. If you go to the strip club on like a Wednesday or Thursday in the afternoon, this is what you kind of expect. It's nothing special. That's your weekend show. You're fine. Just got to get on our merry way.
The wing bar is still out.
Yes. Yeah. You want a little breakfast buffet? We got that going.
Yes, we did try to take the week off or until Monday, and then you guys realized, well, wow, everything in LSU sports wanted to happen while Jordy was gone. So we at least wanted to try and throw our 2 cents into the ring, talking Tony V, LeBlanc is out, Suns in 4.
A lot of things popped over within one day. It's amazing what happens when you take one day off. God forbid we tried. Got a bunch of messages, which we're very thankful for. Shout out to the bunker for giving a shit about us. So we had to come back to the people.
I actually have some meaning to my life that might maybe care what we have to say.
So that was nice. A little ego stroke for the boys.
So going in first in the world of college baseball, is this where we have a little gratitude towards the University of Texas?
I think so. Yeah. Finally, to a pulp. What the last 4 times we've played them in anything, and then Texas does us a little favor, helps us get on the negotiating table. I would imagine.
Well, I think what was the good luck I saw that morning before the game was when Kavion Chason stole the Texas water from Texas when they were playing in that game. And a lot of people don't know like the context of that, which makes it so beautiful. Was people forget it was 104, 106, 106 degrees. Texas purposely turns off the AC. They meant that after they lose. Everybody's chirping. Texas was wearing the DBU shirts. Chase on video chirping. Divinity. A lot of people think it was Devin White.
Yeah, he wasn't on the squad anymore.
Yeah.
So Divinity wore 45 that year. Okay, he was 40.
Yeah, they both went over. Rumors that they had to tell Devin White not to come back. Like he was set in stone that he wanted to come back to LSU because he saw like the writing on the wall that they were going to win a national championship.
He's like,
he was on the team. Yeah,
because
he's like, he went through all the bullshit to get where they are. So he almost forced him out the door. He's like, you're a top 5 pick. I, in good faith, cannot let you come back to LSU.
You know, that's what Cal Perry does at Kentucky. He sits down with the players, and they have, it's not like a contract, but it's kind of like attending this school, and he like cuts it up in front of them, like, you are no longer on this team. You were too good.
Zion wanted to go back for his sophomore year.
Really?
I think part of the reason was because
he didn't. Oh, because he lost?
I don't know what it was, but it came out that Zion wanted to return, and Coach K had to convince him, hey, dude, you're going to be the #1 pick in the draft. Like, get out of here.
Zion wanted 4 years of breaking backboards and pelvises in Durham.
And in shoes.
Yeah, blowing out shoes. I thought Vitello was going to absolutely fight one of the umpires in the parking lot.
I think that they had good on the assistant coach for hopping out there and taking the sword for Vitello because everybody wanted a piece of that umpire at that moment. And I think the pitching coach saw the writing on the wall and was like, look, if I don't get out here, Vitello
got tossed that first.
That's right. That's what it looked like.
Same thing.
But that
was just everyone good looking on that stuff.
Then the pitching coach just, dude, he throws the notebook onto the field. He just makes an absolute ass of himself to take all the pressure off Vitello, which is probably part of his job. And then they have the sliding at home, which I thought Vitello was going to get tossed for also. Well, catcher, you got to get that. You got to get the tag down.
Yeah, he did it.
Right.
So Texas beats Tennessee. It's beautiful. I called it 2 weeks ago. It was the PA announcer after we lose to Tennessee, after we got absolutely demolished in game 2. A very nice gesture by the PA at Tennessee. They were thanking Paul Maneri for a great career and when you're fifth all time in wins, most active in college baseball, 2 World Series appearances, 1 win, just great impact to the game. And this poverty fan base, the first time they're in the winner's circle, starts booing them.
And that's what I think some of the things that have come with Vitello, they think that, like, you know, he has this, I guess you could say, baggage with that he doesn't respect the game, that he's brash, that he has all these qualities that you don't want.
He was a whiner that series.
For an LSU
he was
head coach.
Awful.
Yes. Yeah. But I think a lot of that is the fan base because they've never had a nice thing before.
Right.
Tennessee baseball has never had something to hold on to and grip to, and you can directly point to why they're good is Tony Vitello. He completely came in and changed the program from the first day he was there. So I think that they're kind of a little like, oh, it's to be arrogant, and it's a reflection of the head coach, but I don't think to that extent. Like, I'm sure He took Paul Maneri aside and was like, look, dude, I didn't ask them to do that.
Right. There's only so much that the head coach can do. Like, it's the fans that are like, Coach O is going to hype up Death Valley, but Coach O's not telling them to play neck. That's the student section saying, hey, can we play neck?
It does have words. He's like, I don't like the words, but I do like the beat.
Song, yeah.
Right.
So he does like it. So it leads into it. Vitello's out. Tennessee's out in 2 games. There's still an opening on the LSU baseball search.
It's all falling in line, and like it just seems like it's all just falling right.
Right. If you're connecting the dots, which I think, look, we don't know any more than the people listening to at this point. We've all been smoke screened to death. But if you just look at the timeline and the dots that you could connect to, okay, it was Mike Bianco. Now it's not Mike Bianco.
Casey at first.
Yeah, it was Paul Casey, and then he's not Paul Casey. He's a golfer. Pat Casey. Pat Casey was the first name that they floated out there. He absolutely got demolished by the LSU fan base. And then
a little read the room.
A little read the room and redirect. And then it was Mike Bianco for sure, which even leaked out into the press a little bit. Yeah. And then it turns out Mike Bianco gets an extension. So this would be, and now we've been waiting ever since, and it's still coaches that are in Omaha that it seems like it's likely to be. Even if it's not Vitello, it looks like they have one of these guys.
It has to be someone who is in Omaha.
That got circled, because why else would you wait this long?
Because me and you were talking about it, and I'd love to see your guys' thoughts in the comments. It's if it was Godwin, I mean, he's not coaching.
It's the same scenario as Bianco, where you can just, if you want the deal and you have it offered, there's no reason for him not to take it.
Right.
He's a former LSU baseball coach. He knows the program. There's no reason for him not to be interested, especially moving from a program like ECU. Right. It's the obvious jump that he would want to make. But since he hasn't, it seems like LSU hasn't made the offer. They interviewed, but didn't make an offer. So we definitely, as we like to say on this show, we're big game hunting. Yeah. He's definitely out there looking for somebody that is still coaching, and whether it be the Vanderbilt coach or Tony Vitello, that seems to be the two that we would comment.
Yeah, no, that's an excellent thought, because I just want to be clear. Like, I like Tony Vitello because he has the most piss and vinegar. He's the second best recruiter in the country, won Coach of the Year, turned Tennessee fun on social media to really be pumping Vitello. Right. But even if we got Godwin, that's a phenomenal coach.
Yeah.
And people don't realize they're both the same age. They're both young guys.
44,
they just do it a little
42.
bit. They just do it a little bit differently. Yeah. And I think the reason people are so high on Vitello, and me included, is like you said, the piss and vinegar. It just feels like LSU needs a shot of life, dude. And it's just something that we've been kind of stagnant in this. Okay, we're the standard of college baseball, but at what cost? Like we've become like the boring New York Yankees, where you can't have facial hair, you can't do this. We treat ourselves like a professional program. Whenever it's college baseball, dude, let's have a little fun while we're out here. Like, you only got 3 years of it. Let's make a run here. Yeah. And so I think Vitello brings that certain energy to where it's
I radiate that young energy.
It's like they went straight to the pros and said they didn't get that college experience. So Vitello brings like that young, like the younger brother energy almost.
Right. And fans want, students want, like, you want to go to the box and have a good time. Like, you want to cut up and have a coach that's going to come run through the stands after you win. Like
the high fives after.
Right. It's exactly
my only fear with Vitello coming to LSU is he's automatically the best looking guy on campus.
Dude, not only that, but the coaching staff. You have to look if Woodward brings in Kim Mulkey, Vitello. We already have Will Wade on staff.
In the suit, man.
Yeah, and we got Coach O. Like that's a Mount Rushmore of absolute alphas in your room. Like
bad boys.
Who gets a word in like the weekly meeting?
Exactly. I don't know.
I got money on Mulkey, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm going Mulkey.
She speaks first.
She's running the thing.
Yes, ma'am. You look down. Sleep on who is it? Jay Johnson, the Arizona coach. Those kids, they were so sleepy good program. I mean, when they were playing Ole Miss in their super regionals, the fans were coming out only 6,000. I mean, they were promoted in a half-empty stadium. But those biggest takeaways from watching the College World Series is we have tremendous young talent in the pen. Coleman, Edwards, Fontenot, all those young cats. But man, when you watch some of this pitching in Omaha, Arizona had one kid, he's a lefty, 6'4", 18 years old, but has peach fuzz hitting 96.
Right.
Oh, with the Arizona pitcher?
Everyone.
Yeah, I mean, I just saw that.
NC State.
I was about to say the cat from NC State is who blew me away after he goes up against Leiter and shuts down Vanderbilt. Right. And he comes off the mound and he's the most like affable kid of all time. He has no idea what he just did. He's like, oh, I had a pretty good time out there. Like, answering questions. Like, you just shut down Vandy. You just went head to head with Jack Leiter, who might be the #1 pick in the draft. You got your team a win. Yeah, you shut out Vanderbilt. Yeah, you outdueled them. And it was incredible. And he just had no clue what he just did. That's what's great about college baseball, though. Like,
just get there.
We talk about growing the game with Mincy, and then he's doing a phenomenal job. He's getting mushed left and right on his picks. But it's been a great scene for college baseball, I think, especially coming off the pandemic and not having the College World Series last year. To be able to see this full stadium, to come back 100%, has made such a difference. Fans are not even really that interested, are kind of turning to baseball more and more because,
I'm not a baseball guy, but I can't stop turning the College World Series on.
Always loved the College World Series. It's just, how do we get to the point where it's like tournament play, regionals, how do we get more of it? When I was still like in the high school, middle school, when I saw like, hey, the College World Series is on, like, it's summer. I think it was like, it's like the MLB All-Star Game, College World Series. Those are staples, landmarks on the calendar. Hey, it's summer now.
Yeah, like makes you finals are up there for me also when it's like, all right, I know we're in July, like I know we're in June, July, like it's absolutely summer. But I've just been impressed with not only the coverage and how the teams have played, but just the overall reaction to seeing college baseball back again. It's been fun.
How about Ben McDonald? Always throwing an LSU lob. We probably get more talking time than like NC State sometimes.
Oh, dude, even with the fact that we're not we're not there.
Not even remotely
and you
close.
can say that's all over sports. We have Marcus Spears representing us in college football. You have Shaq at the NBA level who referenced LSU again. Not
wants
for the
to fight a certain
he
player.
wants to fight a former. I wouldn't even call him alumni. Yeah, and so we're represented well all over the country. It's pretty impressive.
So going back to our first talking point with Vitello, when do you think we'll make a hire? Within 72 hours?
I think it'll be by Friday, right?
Yeah,
Don't you?
Arizona's bounced.
By the end of this week.
Vitello's bounced.
If it's not by the end of the week and Corbin's still out there.
I would love to see just someone who thinks we can get Corbin. How? Like, why would he leave Vanderbilt? He built that program. Right. It's a well-oiled machine. They can give out scholarships.
And leave. You would be a fool to leave almost because it's in the same breath as LSU in terms of this is a program where people want to come play. Yeah. It has the legacy. They won the last national championship. Like, they have all of the things that LSU has, and it's not worth making. It's all.
Tello's making a jump up. Godwin's making a jump. Basically, any other coach is making a jump up.
Right, and it seems like Vanderbilt would be a lateral move. But if you don't have a hire by Friday, and Vanderbilt's the only team left in the tournament, that would be something to look at.
State's coach,
I don't think he would leave. That would also be. It seems like a lateral move to me. But
after renovating the dude, I mean, that's the best not to recruit.
Yeah, I mean, look at what they built there, and why would you leave whenever you're on the precipice of it becoming something that you built? Like, you want to get to that status of what Corbin has at Vanderbilt, what LSU has. So he's riding that wave all the way to the top. Why would you get out now? Like, and
there's speculation of getting a hitting coach, but
that seems small potatoes.
I
think you bring in a proven head coach, and by proven I mean somebody that's actually coached baseball at a head level. You don't bring in
Lloyd on Monday. If we bring in Vitello, I kind of see Gotro, the state hitting coach, as a Tennessee move because they kind of like the guy. Like, Vitello was an assistant that they created head coach. I think Tennessee might.
At a program level like Tennessee, I think that's a perfect move.
Right. Yeah, and Tennessee, if they keep Vitello, that would be an excellent. Right. I mean, that would be an absolute steal for them to be able to keep that head coach because it's a stepping stone program. Like, Vitello has built it to be a stepping stone at this point. The next person that gets it, you just want to be able to hold the rope and make sure it doesn't completely fall off a cliff. And it could happen. Is what got Tennessee to where they are that quickly. He's been there 3 years and they got studs.
For real.
So he can bring that. If he brings that to LSU, we lost Nolan Kane and their own staff because Kane was floating in the wind going, hey, man, do we have a hire?
Do I have a job?
And he didn't hear anything back, so he's like, well, I'm going to go take the first job I can get. There's no job for him. Then there's no job for him in the next cycle, the next cycle of hiring, so he might have to sit out a year. So he takes, he's looking at this recruiting search, this coaching search the same way. We're going, I don't know what we're going to do, so I'm going to take the first job I can get.
Right.
I mean, if I were to pick one, perfect world, I'm going to pick Tim Corbin. When you look the way Vanderbilt plays, That team is so fundamentally sound. One play is a routine ground ball. The kid beats out the play. Just it was so simple, fundamental, the way he stepped on the bag. He was able to beat out the play. It's still small, but don't want to practice. It's like, where's the impact on that? But Vanderbilt practices that to a T. You would think, with such talent they have, you just let your talent, athletic ability take over. But man, they are just so good at the fundamental. Great base running team. You see their, hard hit ground ball. They always take a step back. They can always put it into the body. I mean, I would love Corbin. I just don't think we could get him. I just don't think he would leave.
I don't think
that's why I'm on Vitello.
I don't think he'll leave. And I think when you look at LSU's program, especially over the next couple of years, we have a team that we really need to improve their game. But a little tweak here and there, mess with the bullpen a little bit. But the big thing is that atmosphere. And I think Corbin comes in and we win, that fixes the atmosphere.
Oh, yeah, winning's going to change any atmosphere.
Right. Vitello comes in with his personality, hypes up the players, changes the atmosphere. So I'm
2 hires, you can't go wrong either way.
And then Godwin as the backup plan is still...
Yeah, if those are the 3 that we have that we're looking at, we've done a fantastic job in this coaching search. It feels like everybody would be a little disappointed if we didn't get Vitello, just because, especially on this show, we've hyped up the Italiano a little bit. We've pushed him, and that's who we've kind of hitched our wagon to. But a phenomenal hire and an improvement just because of where Palmineri left the program, which is in great shape. He just realized
he's going to a super regional.
The program's in great shape. It's not like we need to make a drastic change. It's just that we need a little bit. It's just that his time was up. He knew it, and kudos to him for seeing the writing on the wall quickly. And instead of I'm sure he looks at that this team back to Omaha, give me one more year. But he wasn't in it anymore, and so kudos to him for taking
the love for the program and respect.
Yes, and it's a perfect timing if you do want a Vitello to make this transition of power whenever he's coming off the highest of highs at Tennessee and getting them to Omaha and making that run, and then you get that transition where a job opening at LSU that comes open once every 15 years. So it's just perfect timing in the sense of Vitello. How realistically long does he coach?
Right. Vitello's the guy that comes in and is a long-term...
That's 20, 15 years.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Corbin's 60 years old.
So 60s. Almost
better health. 5 to 10 years, and you have a Jim Leland in the dugout that's just watching the game.
Winning,
and
man.
then you're right. Yeah, you're winning.
You're winning.
But you might... I guess winning cures all woes. But I'm more interested to see... in the renovations of Alex Box Stadium that kind of Chris Reed was talking about.
Right.
And I think it just all lines up with Vitello in terms of just putting a new stamp on what Alex Box is.
Yeah, Chris Reed with the sneaky play just came out one day. Oh, we can fix it. We're like, whoa, what?
What are you talking about? He's like, I can't talk about it too much.
Can't say too much.
Just all those lessons, man. Reed's got money to spend on the box.
He's got the insider info from all the 12-year-old parents out there.
Moms, yep.
But me and you were talking about it. I mean, just the way the rumor mill's been talking about how, we've been on it for the last 2 weeks about how LSU PR used to be just the Mickey Mouse clubhouse. Just any word would just spill out. It was just toxic waste. And there really hasn't been, who's coming in on interviews. You hear a little bit of rumblings, a little hearsay. And then I hear the 2.1 million Vitello contract was leaked. And it's just, I've actually offered him yet because Woodward's been very strategic on what's been released. They talked to an advocate, which is a change in the way things were dealt with in the PR world with LSU athletics. So for money to be released that, hey, we're going to offer Vitello 2.1, I don't know. Is there substance to that? If you think a contract,
it doesn't seem like a Woodward thing.
That would be leaked.
But I see what Tennessee has offered them, and it was 1.4 million and 40 million dedicated to renovations. So in my opinion, when you look at Tennessee's only offering them 1.4 million.
Mm-hmm. We already have the renovations that.
Well, no, and if you're LSU and you see that they offered 1.4, why would you not drop your dick on the table and see dude, we offered 2.1? Yeah, you then that's when you do leak your offer and let it be known to the public. LSU is absolutely headhunting for Vitello and is willing to drop the bag for the guy. And Tennessee offered up a measly. It's an extra. I think he's making $1 million.
Extra million,
but LSU comes in double it, triple it. What do you want? You don't need to worry about renovations. Do you know how long it takes to renovate a stadium?
Right.
He won't see it down the road.
Right.
Whenever LSU baseball needs minor tweaks, if that.
Here and there.
Yes, just energy. And we just need a cup of coffees, a cup of coffee in that place.
Yeah.
And kind of change up
vinegar, man.
Change up who's in the building. But $500,000, an extra $1 million on top of the Tennessee offer, and you don't have to worry about waiting for renovations. The cash part is an absolute, it's a slam dunk for LSU. It's just a matter of if he has the stones to turn it down. If he thinks he's built something at Tennessee that he can't walk away from. But in that same vein, they've got 9 people that are leaving next year. Like their roster, that's his original recruiting class that he brought in. Yeah. So that's the easiest time for him to walk away, because the more you think about it, I don't know why he would stay.
I kind of want our conference to shit the bed in Omaha. I just want Mississippi State to lose, and I want Vanderbilt to lose, just so I can be like, okay, every single coach that we think could come is out. The hire has to come, because it's driving me nuts. I just want to hire at this point.
I think the longer we wait, though, the more interesting it is, because that's when you can start kind of like scratching names off the list a little bit. If we haven't made a hire, and then Corbin's still there, we haven't made a hire, and
Johnson.
Then it's still.
I'd be very happy. He's a great coach.
No, but like we said, dude,
all great candidates.
Any of those 3 candidates are going to be excellent. So it's not really you have your pick of the litter at this point. None of them are a bad pick. There's no runt in that litter.
Upset. And then looking at it from a recruit's perspective, I kind of feel like Kane leaving.
Right.
Because
especially
now it's
summer ball just started.
How are we recruiting? We don't have a coach. Our recruiting coach is gone, recruiting for another school. So like, what's the next step? And Woodward seems like he's patient and he's going to take his time. But at some point, if the guy is available, we got to just go get him.
Right, because the longer you wait, like you said, there's nobody actively recruiting for LSU. Because I would imagine, and I think this all, in my mind, this all speaks to Vitello coming in, because he's going to bring in an entirely new staff. Yeah. So that's why it would make sense for Kane to walk to A&M, which sucks to lose him to a interconference rival. But they're trying to build their own thing at A&M, which is what they'll always do. They're always a little one step behind. Alan Dunn is probably on his way out. I don't know, but I would imagine if you bring in a new staff. He seemed like a Paul Maneri guy, so he would not stick with the pitching staff. So I think this all points to a coach that has autonomy to bring in whoever he wants on the coaching staff, and that's probably a big selling point if you're a Vitello. We're like, look, I have my guys. If you don't want it this way, then I'm not going to come. Like you have to give them the free.
I mean, I'm okay. I like the slow process. I hate it, but I love it just because it's such a change in pace in LSU athletics. Get it right.
I love
people's babies.
I love the mouths.
The tight lip, dude.
No idea what's happening.
But I think that has caused a lot of what is happening now is people just guessing, because LSU has never been in the place to where they didn't know. Yeah. It always felt like somebody knew something and something was going to leak.
Something leaked.
And now it is just there's so much not coming out that people are just inventing their own conjecture to like, well, we have to have a story at this point, which makes it, I think this is how they do it at normal programs.
Right. This is what it feels like to be normal.
I mean, all you can do now, stay patient and watch some great baseball in Omaha, and wait
till something pops.
And then, I mean, the other big talking point of the day is probably the Vitello of college basketball. If he's not on your team, you absolutely hate his guts. And if he's on your team, God, you
ride with him till the wheels fall off.
Yesterday, junior Josh LeBlanc is transferring for the second time. Started his freshman career in Georgetown, played with Matt McClung. How awkward was that when McClung, 12-year-old boy, just tortured us?
It should have never happened. Yeah. That game was wrapped up, and then we get Matt McClung. Absolute brilliance by him to find the three-point line and make that shot.
Watford had that tech.
Yeah.
One technical, and it just went
downhill from there.
So LeBlanc is out, and I guess it was later in the day, Seneca Knight.
Transfer from San Jose State to LSU and sat out last year. And I think with him and LeBlanc, it's just we have to do what's best for ourselves. I don't really see. I love LeBlanc, and I didn't get to see Seneca Knight play.
He was a great junkyard dog.
Yeah, that mentality, but their minutes seem to diminish every week when Will Wade brings in another 5-star. Another guy that's going to come and produce. Like you said yesterday with Tari Eason and Sharif and all these guys, Josh LeBlanc.
Where are the minutes? There's only one ball.
His role continued to diminish.
So there's 2 open scholarships now. I mean, you would pray just if we can. I love Days. If he could come back, that's the pipe dream that everybody's just hoping for right now. For the love of God, please pull something, because it is June. It's the middle of the dog days of the summer. June. It's most guys are at their school right now. I mean, besides LeBlanc, who just transferred. I would actually love just a 3-and-D.
That mold.
Yeah, stretch the floor, go play defense.
And I think it's obviously, I don't think it's going to be Javonte Smart coming back because of what they posted his numbers and what he's done in the G League. It looks like he's pretty much committed to being there. You haven't seen much from Days in terms of numbers or output or anything like that. So it'll be interesting to see how this whole thing plays out. Because like you said, there's no really reason to smoke somewhere else. Right. And some of that could be how Sharif O'Neal looks when he came back.
Yeah,
and how
absolutely.
and Tari Eason looks and he's like, God, there's just not going to be minutes for me here.
Yeah.
Like, because LSU, without a doubt, has improved from last year. Even with losing Cam Thomas, Javon, team looks like, yes, which was, I mean, the Big Four is what they were calling them. And it seems like they've gotten better. And it seems like the guys that Will Wade brought in more suit his style of ball. It's not going to be ball dominant ISO, go get a bucket for me. It's going to be team basketball. Let's play as hard as we possibly can. Play defense, which is something we did not do last year. So I think this kind of is the mold of what Will Wade wants his team to look like.
Yeah, some numbers from the G League, the elite camp that both Days and Smart are playing in. Days,
California.
Yeah. Okay.
He expects to be a lottery pick. Yeah. I don't know why.
Days and Smart doing the G League one because they don't.
They don't sleep on the G League. It's actually
they're taking that route instead of, hey, I'm going all in on the NBA draft. So Days had 10 points from 3. So I mean, he looks good. I mean, he's doing,
that's his game.
He's doing what he has to do. And so Javonte in the first game had 11 points, and in the second game he had 14, and he made some plays, a little no look pass here and there, hit some threes in the second game. But Javonte, if his jump shot wasn't a set shot, like if he was jumping on it and could hit that pull up, he'd be a first round pick. Because pick and roll wise, he is beautiful on the pick and roll, and he showed it. And he'll break, and then he has that little right hand floater that he'll just float over anybody.
Which seems to be the hottest shot in the NBA right now. The floater, the Trae Young floater, the campaign floater, which was an unbelievable game last night. If you happened to catch it, but it was, I obviously went a little late, but wild game. And if you didn't catch it, all you need to watch was the last 2 minutes because it lasted 33 minutes. And we'll get to that after we're about to catch a break here real quick. We'll come back. We'll talk LSU basketball. We'll talk NBA because I think the playoff game is worth noting. Just because of, I don't know if review is even good for the game anymore. I think you saw this in the NFL.
In college basketball too.
Yeah, it just slows the game so much, and the momentum in the building, you could just feel them holding their breath.
Yeah.
And it was just, when is this thing going to be over? And how sports are watched in general. It kind of is a turnoff in terms of what I'm looking at.
Well, you know, the last 5 minutes of the basketball game.
Oh my God. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Call me old school. I kind of like the old makeup call. Be like,
let's keep it. How you do and keep it moving.
I called a bad call over here, so I'm just going to go ahead and call it.
Let's get 2 more over here. Playoff P reared his ugly head.
You need the human aspect of the game than officiating.
Yeah.
I just don't want it to be completely perfect. I get it. We want a perfect world. But just sometimes, man, you need the human element. That's what makes the game beautiful.
I agree. All right, we'll be back. We're about to catch a break. We got to hit these sponsors up, show them that we're doing, that's how we pay the bills around here.
Keep the lights on in here.
Keep the lights on, keep the AC rolling if we can. If anybody wants to sponsor that thing, let us know. All right, we'll be back.
Are you self-employed? Then you need to learn about Angel Oak's Home Loans Bank Statement program that they're offering, which makes you eligible as a self-employed borrower to purchase or refinance a home without requiring a tax return. If you want to learn more, get in touch with me. Email me, Jordy@JordyCulottashow.com, to learn about the bank statement loan program offered by Angel Oak. Jordy@JordyCulottashow.com to learn more. Gearing up for spring and summer down here in South Louisiana, and you want to keep your lawn maintained during these sunny seasons, get in touch with our friend Blake Abear over at Abear's Lawn Maintenance, where he says, you grow it, I mow it. 225-485-8022. 225-485-8022 is where you can find Abear's Lawn and Maintenance, the official lawn and maintenance company of the undisclosed location. Go Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Go Chevrolet. Remember, Go Chevrolet, is located down in Laplace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard.
Welcome back to a little power hour. We're halfway there. Reading some of the comments saying that we are the workaholics. Patrick, probably with the quote, with the comment of the day. Noah, the dude in the black shorts, looks like if you morphed all three workaholics into one person.
Adam DeMamp, you got the Blake hair. That's so true.
Hey, I would take that as a compliment.
One of my favorite
shows ever.
I love it. I appreciate it, Patrick.
Shade Smith saying, I did not know this. You know how much the Mississippi State coach gets paid?
No, enlighten me.
$700K. I mean, that's probably like $8 million in Mississippi. Though.
Yeah. Right, in Starkville, right. I mean, he's retired. Poor Katie. What a win for Mississippi.
A game.
What do you mean?
They had the 50 or the 21 strikeout game against Texas, and you thought Texas was knocking on the door, and then that Virginia game was an app 4-0. Yeah. They were wheeling and dealing, and then Mississippi State comes back.
I think it takes these kind of games, though, and these kind of performances to win in Omaha. This is what gets like. This is the games that you're a catalyst almost to get you to a championship series because it makes your team. But then when you start winning these tight games and games you probably shouldn't win, they shouldn't have won yesterday.
You gotta have a rally possum here.
Exactly. You gotta have that moment where it brings the squad together even closer, and it feels like Mississippi State and North Carolina State are both like riding that wave of what the hell are we doing here? They've been an awesome team all year. The opposite for North Carolina State.
Coastal 2.0.
Had to go through Ruston to win.
Right.
And then they got smashed in their first game in the Super Regional, and they come back and they're beating the brakes off of it. So it takes teams like that where the moment's right, the chemistry is there, and you just ride it out. You ride the lightning until somebody bucks you off of it.
Right.
I would say if I'm a fan of any team right now in the College World Series, I'm the most confident if I'm a Mississippi State fan. Just the fact that you are in this playoff format and you're winning games that you shouldn't be winning. That's some championship qualities right there.
That's the DNA.
I would actually NC State, Mississippi State.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Championship.
Not sure how the bracket.
I'm an NC.
Yeah, it's essentially you should be able to because whoever loses, the winner always comes from. You have one from the losers bracket, one from the winners bracket. So there's a path to where you would see both teams play, but it seems like those are the teams that are. If you're just kind of grazing over and like kind of scanning baseball like I've been doing, those two teams are the hottest two teams in the tournament, and that's how college works. Like where they have 12 teams, if you can get a team that has a little bit of momentum going into a tournament game, like that's just kind of how you win. You win one, you get your home game, your home playoff game into you're rolling. You beat somebody 48-10, then you're rolling into another game against somebody that you probably shouldn't beat, but you have that advantage of no bye week. Because I would say you got that momentum going. Like, you don't need the bye week at that point. Rolling. Yeah, you feel like you're playing great. So it's just funny how college, like, you obviously see it in March Madness every year.
Yeah.
What was this? We were talking about it before the show. It was the Tony Vitello Wikipedia. Did someone just...
So, yeah, the Wikipedia...
I got it pulled up over here.
That his job title is head coach at the university, at Louisiana State University. It says LSU underneath.
They even changed everything on its like current position on the right to Team LSU Conference SEC record 0-0, and so I don't know who did this, but it's still up and it's fantastic.
I feel like that's a huge design flaw, even in 2021. This fight fake news and all of that stuff, censorship. That a huge website like Wikipedia.
Well, that's what Wikipedia was based on. That's what it is, and they have they have people that monitor the website and have to go back and like. I'm sure it's some guy that I don't want to meet. Because he's like, overworked editing Wikipedia pages. He's probably the smartest man in the world, but he's like in some cramped corner office, like in the basement, checking Wikipedia like alphabetically. Has to go like aardvark, Apple, like and just making like he thinks his day's over, gets to Vitello, and he's like, who is this? He's not. Oh my God! I gotta go change this at 1:30 in the morning. Like, why are you doing this to me?
Someone did that for Clyde Edwards after the Alabama game. They're like. Occupation is like making Alabama their daddy or something.
Yeah,
like
man, somebody's gonna do it every year. Like somebody's gonna do it. Yeah.
Since you're in second grade, don't use Wikipedia for your research paper.
And guess what I do every time?
I copy and paste Wikipedia and change the words.
Yeah, yes. Let me pop that into like whatever else. Let me pop this into the source for me, and I don't have to worry about it.
Other basketball news we were just talking about, I just found out, is that Adam Miller is one of 17 finalists for the UK.
We got a baller. He's legit, and we knew he was legit. But I mean,
I don't think people realize how good he is.
Team USA, one of 17, like, dude. Right.
And then you hear the stories come out of practice of him, like, I don't have time for I don't have time for my bads. I got time for winning a championship.
Right.
And this isn't even real practice yet. He doesn't even have the whole team out there, and he's already taken this leadership role for LSU. So I don't really, if you know, this probably isn't that big of a surprise, because when you roll the ball out on a U19 Olympic team and he just wants to take over, you're like, well, this guy's probably gonna make the squad.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that sold me was he's here to win, he's here to play, and I say that because he was on the phone on this show. I'm like, no. How do you pitch that? How does Will Wade do that? How do you get the #1 transfer, a kid who would have been the star at Illinois, a team that was supposed to win a national championship? You get him to come to Louisiana. He's never even been here.
Didn't even visit.
He's the Elon Musk of college basketball.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's just, that's what he does.
He does. He has a vision, and he can completely sell you on what he thinks LSU basketball is and what it could be when you come here.
Right. And Adam Miller said it in the interview. He was saying, I saw what he did with Cam Thomas, and was like,
I saw myself in that mold.
I saw myself in, like, if we can have another Cam Thomas, I'm sold. I'm sold.
What's your thoughts on Cam? He decided not to do the combine.
Oh, you have to go out and risk an injury in the combine. He's a bucket getter, and he knows everybody knows that.
And so, from what I've read, if you skip the combine, it means the team has already contacted you, and they'll draft you if you're available at whatever spot.
He knows he's a lottery pick, so most lottery picks don't go to the combine. It's usually like back into the first round, second round, that want to bump their name up, make some more money up,
and show some things that you didn't. They didn't know that you could do, and then it might move you up a touch.
I mean, if I'm a scout and I'm watching Cam Thomas, I'm gonna go to first 10 minutes of the Michigan game.
Yeah,
because he can do that anywhere.
Seeing the Pelicans get that 10th pick, I just feel like Cam just slides in just beautifully right there. Just you stick him in the corner around 3-point line. Zion gets the bucket, kick it out. Cam Thomas is gonna.
I know it's not where he's projected to go. I know 10 is high for Cam Thomas, but I mean, is he not the mold of what you need on that?
We need. I mean, he doesn't play defense, but
that whole team doesn't play defense.
We tried to build a defensive team, and we saw that.
If you have Zion, Bi, Lonzo Ball, and then Cam Thomas in the corner, you got shooters. You got shooters.
Right. You got people that can create and people that get buckets.
And he has no interest. Like, he doesn't want to do. He wants to go find his spot, set up, and he can create off the dribble. But
yeah,
I mean, he does slide in nicely. I'm sure there's better prospects than Cam Thomas at 10. But just from where we are, and I do this for the NFL draft every year.
Louisiana.
Where I just look at LSU guys like, well, he would fit nicely on the Saints.
Terrace Marshall.
Yeah, we don't take any of them, and it's just like, never mind, dude. I'm just gonna go be a fan of the Bengals.
But they, who they have slotted at 10, who'd be going to the Pelicans, is my boy from my hometown, James Bouknight out of University of Connecticut. One of the best players in the Big East, automatic scorer, great bucket getter, instant. Kid's electric, man. He's good. He was just banged up this year. That's where they have the Pels going. But I love Cam Thomas. You need an instant offense, and Thomas does that. The only thing you guys were saying about the combine is that a team has reached out to you. The only thing I wish was, man, you could be a definite top 8-10 pick if you play in those pickup games, that like Summer League, G League pickup games that they do and the scouts are watching, and you bring up the ball. Don't shoot. We know you can score. We've watched that Michigan film. We saw you jab. We saw you fake, and you just hit nothing but nylon. Show that you can put the ball on the floor. Show that you can facilitate. Show that you can pass it around.
Yeah, they're not willing to take that risk. They're not willing to go out and do that when they know they have money set and risk an injury and drop to the second round or the late first round. Because in basketball, injuries drop you
so much.
Like Michael Porter Jr. had that injury. Instead of being the #1 pick, he's the 14th pick, and now he's playing like the #1 pick. And so they're not willing to.
The risk isn't worth
injury.
the reward. And I'm sure if they've talked to some of these teams that say they're going to draft them, they're like, don't go to the combine. Like, we don't need to see you, and I don't want you to first risk getting hurt.
Because they got him at 20 right now.
I mean, yeah, if I'm at 20, I would probably go to the combine and try to. If you are who you say you are, go get into that 12, 15 range, you know, bump your money up a little bit. But I'm sure that these, like, the coaches that talk to him, the GMs that talk to him, like, don't go play because you're set here, you're good, and they don't want him to slide up, you know? It's kind of the tale of two games that they're playing. The
biggest thing on him is, one, he's a great shooter. No one's denying that, but it's the consistency and the overall
decision making.
He only averaged 1 assist. He had a higher usage rate at LSU than what James Harden had on the Rockets.
And he shoots these shots, and like, he gets a lot of foul calls on jump shots, which my coach always told me, if you're getting fouled on a jump shot, it wasn't smart to take the shot. Because if you're shooting a jump shot where they're close enough to foul you,
that's such an old take. I love that. Like, talk to Harden.
So like, he shoots these shots that you kind of scratch your head, and he'll hit some, he'll airball some, he'll get fouled on some, and so decision making, defense, and he's really not a type of guy that's going to get the ball to other people. And so on the Pelicans, I know he's not a 10th overall pick. There's definitely players that are better to take at 10, but the Pelicans have guys that are going to create. You got Zion, who's going to get to the bucket no matter what, on any soul
only thing
in the
bucket
arena.
Is it's from 10 feet.
Right, and so then you have BI who can create. Lonzo can create, like, shots.
What's the new updates on the coaching world? Because I'm looking at the Blazers, and they're moving Becky Hammond. She's already had her second interview. They're closing in on her.
I haven't seen the move yet, so I don't know what that means.
I'm thinking probably Jason Kidd is probably the first choice that Griffin's probably going after. But really, it's just kind of up in the air.
I mean, how much stock would you put in letting Zion and BI kind of make this hire for you?
I think you let Zion make the hire. I have nothing against Brandon Ingram, but I think Brandon Ingram has not said anything like, you know,
contract. Right. Like, seems like he has to. Zion is
flirting with New York in front of your face. You have
to. He's unhappy.
You gotta let him.
Yeah, and then there's the family stuff that's saying that he's unhappy, and you know, you don't really know how much stock to put into that. But I feel like basketball is the only sport where you really let your coaching coaching hire be made by almost the team. Like, you bring in the staff, you let the David Griffin's office, and
you got to get this hire right. You have to have everything in the world to let Zion stay. If you don't get a big name /coach, if you don't have Zion happy, Zion leaves and goes to New York. There will no longer be the New Orleans.
Seattle. Yeah, if they don't get it right and Zion leaves, the Pelicans are no longer. New Orleans, Louisiana no longer has an NBA team. But when you look at the coaching hire, the big thing is atmosphere, because in the NBA, game planning only gets you so far. You have players that go out and make plays. You have to get an atmosphere, and you have to get your players to buy.
Do you think they're going to keep Steven Adams?
I don't know. Player personnel-wise, I'm not sure what moves they'll make. I know Bledsoe's probably on the way out.
Yeah, how do you trade Drew Holiday?
But when it comes to coaching, you just have to get a guy that the players
so much was just trading away Drew Holiday like that.
Getting rid of Holiday and then signing a coach that has no business coaching this team. And so I don't know where they go coaching wise, but it has to be a guy. When I look at the Brooklyn Nets, the year they had D'Angelo Russell, and you look at their bench and their bench is dancing, and they have this atmosphere, and like that's exactly what the Pelicans need. They need that atmosphere. And so I'm not exactly sure who the coach was then. I'm not saying hire that coach, but hire a coach that has that type of effect.
They gotta get the ball
I mean, chemistry is one of the biggest things in basketball, and it seems like that. I mean, if you don't even have to really watch the Pelicans to understand that they didn't even want to be out there half the time. Like they didn't want to play together. They had no real like seamless transition from one player to the other, from one end of the floor to the other. It just didn't really it never really looked like they meshed. And I think that those guys are friends. Like it seems we're doing out here. We have no game plan. This guy wants us to play defense. He brings in Steven Adams. He brings in Drew Bledsoe and changes away Drew Holiday, who was kind of like the face of the franchise without being the face of the franchise. He was like the stalwart.
And wants to play defense, and Holiday is arguably one of the best.
Look at what he's doing. I mean, they're the reason that he's probably the reason the Bucks are still
100%.
Yes.
He's the difference.
Yeah, that's the one change they made.
Yeah,
Giannis loves him,
and that's exactly what the Pelicans need: a veteran leader that plays defense. And David Griffin made a bad choice there.
It's terrible.
And then another bad choice getting Van Gundy. It's just
one of the last things I just wanted to bring up in the Power Hour, because we do have the Woodward interview going live at 8. It was just great to see the way how he represents the Oh, God, fire me up.
Yeah. Did it not make you believe like a little bit like we finally got this thing, like this ship righted?
Right.
So, yeah, we have coming up at 8 a.m., we have Scott Woodward interview that we did a couple of months ago, maybe a month ago, right after the Kim Mulkey hire.
Right.
But not only is it about the Kim Mulkey hire, it speaks to how he a little bit about how LSU should think more highly of itself and why he goes after the coaches that he does and why he thinks he can do that to LSU. So I think it's pertinent to the LSU baseball coaching. Be interesting. Like, it'll be great for y'all to go back and listen to, and it should instill a little bit of confidence in what we have going on at LSU.
Speaking of the worlds of athletic directors, I don't know if you guys saw the photo. There was one recruit from the University of Oklahoma. He's standing out there doing the typical recruiting photo, but in the background, there's like 4 sports cars.
Yeah, it's all these Rolls Royces chilling behind some student athlete.
And then our boy Trey Bradford just goes to Oklahoma.
Got himself a Rolls Royce, I guess.
Got him a Rolls
Baker
Royce.
knows a guy at a dealership.
It has to. That's the Nick Saban Mercedes-Benz connection, where he owns like 5 Mercedes-Benz dealerships in Alabama. I think he owns some in Louisiana too.
Probably so.
But I'm sure that's probably really easy for him to get, toss you the keys and don't say mum is the word. I don't know if Trey Bradford is Rolls worthy, but it definitely spoke to him there in wild move.
I'm surprised he went to I'm just in the context of Chris Curry, because he was the last running back to transfer. And Curry only went to Utah, and for Bradford to go to...
They are very pass heavy. They're not, hey, hand it off. My running back is going to swing out, and I'm going to dump it off. And that's what LSU did with him. I mean, Max Johnson dumps it off to him against Florida, and he scores.
His game where he's like kind of a pass-catching running back.
And Lincoln Riley probably saw that.
Yeah. I mean, you would think that it's a kind of a step up for him almost, because I didn't know if he was good enough to play at LSU, and he showed in his limited touches he was good. To be able to make that move to Oklahoma and get, it seems like probably automatic playing time is great for him.
I mean,
because LSU's stacked at running back.
I was just going to say that. It is just, you got Emory. I went back and I was watching his huddle tape, and it's just like, I can see why we get so frustrated. You got the Ferrari. And
I don't know how to get him right, because, like you said, everything that he does, when he pops, he pops. That run against Alabama, like he had some other splash plays throughout the year where you're just like, good God, can we not just does he need the ball 15, 20 times a game?
Right.
Like, I don't know how to exactly get him ingratiated into the game plan, but when he's on, he's one of the more electrifying players in the country that nobody really has seen yet.
And you have Ty Davis Price, who's just always
wrecking
consistent.
ball.
Yeah. And he in the spring game, I know it was a spring game, but he did lose some weight. He cut and he looked fast. Like, he was mobile. I think that was one of the biggest problems with Ty Davis Price, was he couldn't get to the second level, where Emory is a great second level booster. I'm going to blow by you. I just got to get through that first hole.
Ty Davis Price isn't you're in front of me, I'm going to run you over. Emory's like, if you get me the ball in open field, I'm going to shake you, and I'm going to...
And I can house it.
I'm going to just house it after.
That is, now that you say that, I went to the spring game, and TDP did look slimmer, and he looked like he had a little bit more juice to him, and they said he had an ankle injury.
Really?
But you couldn't tell. Yeah, you couldn't tell.
He was cutting.
Yeah, he looked good. He looked slim. I wonder how hard that is to keep the weight off, but...
It's just like, you are so just massive.
Yeah.
And then you have Amari Goodwin and Corey Kiner. Goodwin's awesome. You stole him from Auburn. Isn't it amazing how deep we are in the skills position?
Yeah, I mean,
we're more deep in wide receiver and running back.
When you look at depth, every time we're too players
deep.
on players on players on players. Like running back is very. I think wide receivers probably, and then we have 3 quarterbacks. Might have 2 by the time season starts, but we don't know what's happening. But
best quarterback group in the country.
Yeah,
for now.
For now,
because I would imagine that was Max Johnson, then you'd have to think Miles Brennan will not stick around. He would leave. But yeah, if offensive line is the biggest concern, like we've said, and I think, we're still looking for a proven guy at wide receiver. You know where I stand on that. Right. I would like to see Stingley get a couple touches on the offensive end. But follow Jarrett Rozier if you want to see what he can do. What he can do on the 7 when he levitated. He played 7 plays on offense, scored 7 touchdowns.
I mean, I think we forget how athletic he is. Posting on our Instagram of him in high school, they're just casually open gym in high school. It's at the end of the day, and it just toss Stingley, just takes his backpack off, and it just bounce past him in basketball.
Takes 2 steps and hits a windmill dunk.
He's that guy.
How tall is he? Like 5'10", like 6'1"?
He's got to be 6'1".
Yeah, 6'1", but I mean, still.
Just windmill casually.
Just casual windmill in high school. No big deal.
He's that guy.
So, I mean, he is a freak. So much depth at the LSU position. I wish nothing but the best with Trey Bradford and even Chris Curry.
Yep.
I think Chris Curry's a little hidden gem. I think he's gonna do work at Utah.
I think he'll fit. And then the same thing goes for the basketball transfers. I think
LeBlanc would go. I would think somewhere. I think
I don't think he's
somewhere in the American Conference.
I don't think he's gonna. Yeah, I don't think he's gonna hit. He's not gonna make a transfer like Georgetown from LSU. It's gonna be somewhere smaller, but probably more than he would here.
I would think just a smaller or stepping down a level in competition will at least let him be able
just
to
get more
play
minutes on the
more
floor.
of stretching the floor.
Kind of like Jalen Cook. Jalen Cook was like, you know what? I'm not gonna play here. Let me go to Tulane and see if I can get 20 points. Like
I think you could.
Like building. I'm sure they have those conversations
where it's like
some
money.
Don't sleep on that conference. That is a very good conference. We got Tari Eason, and we got him from Cincinnati. That's been a consistent. It's a great program. I mean, maybe one day Tulane, they could build something. Hey, if they get 2 LSU boys,
yeah, that can't hurt.
Yep.
All right, we're about to wrap it up here. Remember, 8 o'clock is the Scott Woodward interview. A nice little perspective on what
big game hunter
exactly on what he wants to do at LSU and how the transition of power from him to Oliva.
No more Mickey Mouse clubhouse.
Yeah, no more Mickey Mouse bullshit. He's kind of got this thing righted, and he wants to. You'll hear a lot about it in the interview of how and that there should absolutely be a perennial power player, not only in baseball, basketball, and football, but just in coaching searches. Everybody, he says that people should want to come here just because of what the program is.
Great show. I greatly appreciate you guys being in the bunker, supporting the JV. Pulling up the kid, it's a blowout, and they pull up the freshman lefty in the bullpen. You got to go
burn a red shirt,
man. Patrick with the comment of the day saying no